Come on now, boy. Yeah. Okay then. Ah! Damn it.
Can you hear me now? So apparently my mic has a mute switch on it, so you haven't heard shit I've been saying. Alright. Sorry, I just needed to vent a little bit of frustration there. I'd been talking about things like cooking the pork and him having tuberculosis and didn't have a bloomin' clue that my mic was off. Alright, well the good news is we haven't progressed except I eat some food. So you can hear me now, right? The funny thing was I thought my mom was being awfully quiet. I actually wondered, oh, you missed my whole rant about my laptop. Oh, jeez. I'm reviewing a really piece of shit laptop, and it's very inexpensive, and it's very low spec, but there's a market for those. And so right now I've got it set up next to my couch so I can talk to my mom. And oh, getting that going. The laptop itself is perfectly fine, but it's running a stripped-down version of Windows 10, and it will not let me install Chrome. And I am really upset about that, because I had another laptop that all it did was run Chrome, and it was better. Much better device. In fact, it was a touch more expensive, too. Still a better device. In fact, I miss it. I kind of regret giving it away. But that whole can't install Chrome thing is frustrating because I have to log into Gmail in order to chat with my mom. And the first thing it does, it's like, oh, well, you should download Chrome. I'm like, I can't. Screw you for reminding me. And then, on top of that, I went to go download it claimed to have a Gmail app for the laptop. And by the way, that's actually the appeal of the stripped-down version of Windows, is that instead you get an app that does that job, and it's developed to run on something like this, in which case it'd be fine. Keep in mind, computers have been far more powerful than needed to do a lot of this stuff that I'm doing for over a decade, close to 2. Like, you can make a machine from the early 2000s still work as a web browser today. It's not that bad, right? So anyway, yeah, I got the pleasant little reminders that I can't install Chrome on it. And then it's very slow and laggy, and then, like, my mom wasn't responding to me, and I didn't realize that was just because of something simple as the switch on my mic had been thrown. Ugh. I hate that I'm going to have to give this a bad review when I don't think the actual manufacturer did anything wrong except choose a really shitty operating system. If I put Windows 7 on this laptop, it'd be a much better machine, and that just angers me. The dumb thing is I don't remember exactly where the statue entrance is. Oh, and I got a gripe about the statue puzzle as well. I know the solution to the puzzle, and the reason I know that is because I went to go... When I first found the map of it, the map of it was elsewhere. And so I wanted to look that up because I didn't know where to go to get it, so that's what I was looking up. The problem is, though, they don't write those walkthroughs like, hey, you just need a little compass direction to go in. They're all like, oh, and here's how you solve it. Well, the solution is only 2 words. And when we get there, I will tell you the 2 words, and you'll go, yes, I see why just looking that up was frustrating, because I read fairly quickly, and so there's no way for me to, even when I'm looking at a paragraph, I just have a way of catching the first and last words and summarizing it before I read it, and yeah, all I needed was to see 2 words, and that's actually how you solve the puzzle. Now the fun thing is, though, I gotta give them credit because I think the solution to the puzzle makes sense and has an air of believability to it. Like, if I dared read the whole thing, I wouldn't be surprised if they said this was based on something that was actually discovered at some point. So really, I'm kind of pursuing this for the... I feel like I'm having one of those shitty dreams where you can't get out of what you're doing, and you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I didn't have this problem last time, but I don't have that clear of memory of what I did last time. It's starting to piss me off. All because the save game doesn't take me back to where I started. Alright, let's take a look and see what's down here. I just gotta find the entrance. I remember the entrance being like a hole in the rocks. But Arthur does not want to walk there. Maybe it's right here. Yeah, Arthur's in trouble. I don't know what we're gonna do with him. Boy, I'm gonna be frustrated if I have to reload this game. Oh, is it down here? I bet it's down here. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. By the way, the other reason I slept earlier was just so I could get... I mean, partly it was for his sake, and partly it was because I wanted to get him back in this cave, although, now that I think about it, it might have been entirely inside. I don't remember. Might not matter. Okay, I don't need my light. Alright, so here's our statues. I'm gonna go ahead and reset them. Now the first thing I saw about it was count the fingers, and I wish I didn't even see that. But, okay, fine. So that one's already reset. There was a detail I got wrong, and I feel stupid for getting it wrong, but on the other hand, that's what makes these puzzles fun. And I will say, if I were playing an adventure game, I would appreciate this puzzle. I actually used to play a lot of those puzzle games back then, like Day of the Tentacle. In fact, I played that one recently. That's out on the iPhone now, so you can actually play that with updated artwork and everything. Leisure Suit Larry, Space Quest. Most of the LucasArts games, like there's the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which, by the way, I'd love to play again. I got most of the way through it, but a friend of mine had loaned it to me and he wanted it back before I beat it, so it's one of those ones where I'd love to revisit because I didn't have any hints on it. Okay. I'm going to do one other seemingly weird thing here. I'm going to save my game. I don't want to reset those switches again because you saw how fucking tedious that was. Okay. So let's count the fingers. I'm going to start with the front, with wherever this is looking. Okay. First statue. Okay. You know, I'm going to count the thumb to, that's 5. I'm assuming his thumb is out. Okay. Oh boy. Right. But they're broken off. And that guy's missing an arm. Incidentally, you're supposed to find his arm and count the fingers on that. So, is this my statue? Okay, so one of these arms... Ah! Laptop went out there. Okay. Where's the arm? What, did somebody take it? Is the implication here that somebody found the statues and stole part of it? Now, I do know from the accidental spoiler, the arm's in here somewhere. But it makes sense, though, why I would overlook it. So I'll give them credit for making this a believable puzzle. Because some games have some really weird ideas about how to make a puzzle challenging, and it is not a coincidence that there's a toll number you can call to get answers. And I think the internet, I think that's one of the good things with the internet, is it killed that particular market. Frog down in Saint Denis. Baby, hello, my darling. Can I get my lamp at least? Fine. Not my day, is it? Okay. Where's that frickin' arm? Can I do this? Does that help? No, of course not. Maybe it is better if you play at night, because that light's a lot more powerful. I'm gonna walk this entire perimeter until I find this frickin' arm. Is that it? Is that it? Okay. Okay. 3 fingers. Okay. I hope I'm doing this right. Okay, so the broken one has 3 fingers on that missing arm. So 7, okay? So that guy is 7. Is that 2? Or is it 3? Can't fucking tell! Ugh! Okay, that is a finger. Okay. So that's 3. 7, 3. And he's got his thumbs. Well, it's easier to do this. Okay. So 3... 8? Okay. So that's 8. It's easier to go behind them. 2... 5... 4... 2... Is that 5 again? 6. Okay. 6. We're back to 7. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's see if this works. That's 2, right? Alright, 2. And then... I believe that one's 4, so nope. And this one is... also 4? Is that really 4? Another one was 4 too. Alright. I see 4 on that one also. And then this one is 3. I count 8 on that one, so I'm not hitting that one. 2, 3. Yep, hitting that one. That's 7. We'll get to him in a minute. I don't know if the order matters. So 3, 6. Nope. 1, 2. I think I already pushed that one. Yeah, I already pushed that one. Well, let's hit number 7. Cross your fingers. I wasn't trying to be funny. Anything? Balls. Okay, the 2 words are prime numbers. 1, 2, 3. So this one should be pushed. Yeah, that one's pushed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is not a prime number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is a prime number. Ah, there we go. What moved? There it is. Ta-da! Gold bar. Gold bar. Gold bar. I didn't hit 4. So yeah, the last one, the one with the arm broken off, is a prime number. That's why it's not right. What's a little frustrating about that is the arm is broken off the same way the fingers are broken off. So, but you have to look around and find that arm. Now, here's the thing, though. That arm, why is that arm over there? I don't know, but you know what? I'm not mad because I feel like that is a puzzle somebody would solve. And also, you gotta respect any civilization that would leave a sculpture like that. That's cool. That is seriously cool. That's like Captain Picard level shit right there. He would have loved discovering this. So yeah, good job, Rockstar. Thank you for being a good puzzle game. Alright, I've got about 15 minutes here. Sorry, a bit of a short day. I didn't expect to have to, I only get about an hour to play, and I didn't expect, to have to update the software. And I will say, it does kind of frustrate me the way software updates work, because if you decline the software update, excuse me, it turns off networking features. Now, I'm actually using the single-player mode. In theory, that doesn't affect me, except I want to broadcast so my mom can watch while I play. And, yeah, fuck me for having out-of-date software.
Easy.
That's beyond my control, right? Okay, I want to set up camp. Yep, see you in a bit, Mom. I'm just setting up camp so my character can sleep. Kind of wonder if the tuberculosis thing is to make you more dependent on taking care of your character. That would actually be an interesting quirk of this game. Let's get him some sleep. I wonder what setting up the tent does. You get 9 hours, sir. Okay, craft items. Wow, he's a ventriloquist. I'm having this guy pig out a little bit because he's underweight. Huh. Huh. Cool. Hmm. Why not? Okay. What are those exploding bullets? Ooh! Huh. What are the ingredients? Huh. Cool. Okay, so done that. Alright. Where to? Actually, not that small game. Yeah. You didn't miss anything. I had the option to craft some things, so I made poison throwing knives, and I made slightly improved arrows for small game, so I was actually trying to test that. And I've already lost 2 of them, so meh, whatever. And then I improved my bullets a little bit. You're able to split the shells. Actually, I should ask my dad about that. I don't know what that actually does.
What?
But he was rubbing his knife over the tip of the bullet, and somehow that makes them better. Oh. Actually, there was a reason to go there. I think this is a... Wait. It'll tell me. Oh. I do want to take him up on that, but I think I want to go... Yeah, it does something. I don't really understand the physics of it. It also says that it doesn't use your Deadeye as fast, and I actually really haven't used Deadeye in this, so I don't know.
Damn it!
Sorry. I deserved that. Okay. Oh. Disarm myself here. I'm gonna go collect a debt. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. And then I gotta call it a night. Mom first came on today. I showed her a picture of my office, which is where I'm playing my game here. And the place is a disaster. And the reason for that... Jeepers, 3 arrows. I took a piece of furniture out of my office. And it created kind of a vacuum, and so there's some stuff scattered about now because of it. And yeah, the place is very claustrophobic right now.
Keep moving. I'll have nothing to do with you.
It's a weird thing to say to a guy who's skinning some food off the side of a road. Incidentally, I had a reason to do that. One, I just wanted to see if the arrows are any better, and I'm thinking when they say small game, they mean smaller than that. And secondly, in order to make bullets explosive, you need fat, if I read that right. So I'm just like, okay. Yeah, that was an inappropriate bit of dialogue I just got. I'm only calling that out because when you... I think when you make a game like this, like somebody's programming it, and they're programming Arthur going through his cycles to make him a believably animated character, they have to capture a few events. So, like, if he's in the process of boarding his horse, maybe he's invincible for a moment while he's doing that. So a variable has to say, is he invincible? And it's set to true until the animation clips over, then it's set to false. I don't know if that's really true, but I did see an amusing glitch a couple of days ago where somebody had gone into a sheriff's office to talk to him, and for some reason his character was able to pull out his weapons and use them while the guy was talking, and it created a hilarious situation where the guy's talking, he's got 3 arrows sticking out of his head, one of them in his eye, and his office is on fire, which is spreading throughout. And I always enjoy glitches like that. Grand Theft Auto, one of the earliest glitches I saw on YouTube for that was a similar story. The guy's character was by the police. He went inside. It started a cutscene, and while he's talking to this movie producer, the police are in his office shooting you and the guy. So the guy's got bullet holes appearing in him while this cutscene is going on.
You've been slaughtering. Hey, partner.
Oh, some of the dialogue exchanges in this are funny. Unintentionally funny. I gotta find that video again, because that is a hilarious video. I think the humor in a lot of these games comes from the fact that it's trying to look real. That falls on its face once in a while, and it's hilarious.
You actually choosing to look like that?
Hey there.
You got. We should compare how many teeth each of us have. I wonder what would happen if I found one of these helmets for real and just wore it to work. I love how some of those trees are leaning there. Incidentally, that is a designed... Actually, that is a weird feature of this terrain here. Is that a crater? This has to be based on something. I'm wondering if this is a reference to the Tunguska blast. I want to say 1908. That's worth looking up, by the way, if you don't know what I'm referring to. Interesting. See how those trees are burnt? Is there a meteorite here? Is that what this is? Inspect. I knew it! I knew it! Haha! I smart. That's cool. Bet it's on the map now, too. Oh, cool. Oh, that's great. I don't even know if this buys you anything. I just like it from a this is fascinating point of view. Thank you, Rockstar. What do you think? Should I look it up? I should look it up. Incidentally, from the clues here, this is recent. On the other hand, the game does seem to be a frozen moment in time. There we go. Why do I think... Excuse me. Why do I think... why do I think this can be used for crafting something? I'm going to look it up. I'm going to try my shitty laptop, so please be patient. Alright. Read. Dead to meteorite. Give me credit for using my observational skills to notice that, because you'll notice I first commented on that leaning tree, and yeah, that was out of the blue. I was actually going to point out that that was the sort of thing you wouldn't expect a computer to come up with. Like, there's one spot where there's a leaning tree, right? And then when I started noticing the area, it's like lots of trees are leaning. That is on purpose. Sorry, I'm proud of that, because it's actually part of my job to observe things like that. So a leaning tree has to have a reason. So that's where I was going with that. Oh! Interesting. Oh, fuck. Spoilers. Oh well, I might as well, since I'm running out of time, I might as well go check out the other thing. There's a reference to finding a fossilized man. It's like, oh, it's right next to that. I'm like, fuck you. Why isn't there a guide for somebody who wants minimal spoilers? Anyway. The southern path of the woods. So yeah, the fossilized man is... this way. Wait. It's this way somewhere. I might as well, since I already know about it. That shit pisses me off. Right. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay. Oh, quit showing me Just talking about... This actually says 2 meteorites. Apparently the game tells you there's 3, and that's caused some kerfuffle. Apparently there is not a 3rd meteorite. Yeah, this is way more interesting to me than collecting a debt right now. Isn't it cool how I could just pick a direction and go in this game, and then, like, I find something that completely grabs my interest instead? I think there might be another chunk of meteor here. So, when I looked it up, apparently that is an interesting hue. Doesn't it look like somebody died here? That reads as blood to me. Okay. Well, anyway. Supposedly it helps you... Actually, I'll read exactly what it says here. This will decrease the effects of exposure to hot environments by 10%. That is weird. You know what I thought it was going to say? I thought it was going to increase your tolerance of cold environments by 10% because it turns out it's radioactive. That's what I thought it was going to say. Okay, so here's what pisses me off. This talks about finding a meteorite, and then it goes into, and once you've found both of them, never mind finding the 3rd one, because there is no 3rd one. So I don't know. This is horribly written, and I'm a little annoyed because it's IGN, a website I actually have a very high opinion of. IGN goes way back. Okay, well, let's go find the fossilized man. I really shouldn't. I really should go, but darned if they haven't caught my attention here. Hang on, just gotta find it. Okay, fossilized man is right about here. Okay. You know, I didn't check my satchel. Okay, so I don't know how legible that is on the video capture, but I found 1 of 3 meteorites, and that's where the meteorite conspiracy comes from. I only found 1. Maybe when I get bored, I'll see if I can look up a video on how to find the other one, because I don't know if they mean there's 2 of them there, or if they mean that there's another one I gotta go find, and maybe I was at the second site for Meteorite 2. I'm not trying to get it for any particular reason other than I'm enjoying finding it, so I'm not gonna look too deep right now. Weird that it makes hot environments easier to... Why? Don't you... I swear, horse, if you fall off that, I will let you die. Let me go back down.
Come on, mister. I was only playing.
What? Alright, let's go sledding.
Yep.
I'm actually trying to get to the train tracks, so this is actually a sensible choice. Boy, that's steep, though. Giving me nightmares. I discovered something really fun last night. I have the channel Stars. If you remember last week, I was talking about finding a season of Transformers I didn't know about. Well, it turns out it's only a 3-episode season, so they made it into like a little mini movie, sort of, so to speak. But you know what? I still enjoyed it because Optimus Prime was back, and I'm sorry, I love Optimus Prime. I remember when the Michael Bay movie came out in 2007, was it? The opening line was Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime going, "I am Optimus Prime." And, oh man, the audience... There were 2 points the audience lost their shit at that movie. One was, "I am Optimus Prime." And the other was Hasbro up on the logo. When that came up, Hasbro! Everybody just lost their shit. And I'm like, that is the most fun I'd had at a movie theater in a long time. That was cool. Like or hate the movie, I had a great time watching that on opening night. And on top of that, they had the speakers turned up too loud, and that is exactly the movie to watch with the speakers too loud. There's a scene in the movie where they open fire on a Decepticon from an airplane. It has this huge cannon mounted on the side of it. There was no audio. It was just the subwoofers going, "Oof," and it was like getting kicked in the head every time that thing opened fire. And I'll tell you, that was the time to do that. That was beautiful. I saw the original Fast and the Furious movie. I went with some friends. I really had no interest in watching it, which is funny because I ended up working on something related to it at one point. But my friends I went to go see it with were all car nuts. And that was another theater where they turned up the audio too loud. I'm telling you, that's the time to do it. If you've got engines going, you want that to be way too loud. And I have to say, I enjoyed that too. I would not enjoy it watching it on video. It is not. I'm not a car guy. But darn it, I had fun that particular day with that particular group of friends. That's why I think cinema is never going to fully go away. I know people enjoy home theaters. I've got one myself. I much prefer it. But there are some situations where you want to go with an audience. Anyway, back to me finding stuff on Stop! Jeepers. Back to me finding stuff on Stars. They have the entire run of Voltron. And boy, anybody who knew me in grade school was like, uh-huh, look who found him Voltron, right? Here's the thing, though. I discovered something about myself I didn't know about. There are a few things in life that when I see it, it produces a feeling I cannot articulate. It is just a weird... Something's nagging at me to go check that out, right? Sorry, I'm talking about the feeling here, not what I'm looking at on the screen. I don't know how to get up there. I don't even know if that's where the... There's a fossilized man around here somewhere. That's what I'm trying to find. So I'm just killing some time while I have him sliding less than gloriously down the hill. By the way, if this were Breath of the Wild, that rain, I'd have to wait till it passed because it makes the rocks slippery. I don't know if this game does that. It should, but I don't know that it does. It's like they were definitely keeping an eye on Call of the Wild, Breath of the Wild, sorry, while working on this game. But I don't know if they really captured that or not. I saw it. Oh, there it is! Look at that! Ah, that is cool. Oh, that is cool! Fella! I love it! That's all I wanted. I'm gonna have to say goodbye now. But I'll finish that thought. There is a certain style of sci-fi I really like. There is a movie, Heavy Metal. And there's a brief shot in Heavy Metal of a distinctly 70s sci-fi style of spaceship flying by. And actually, I think it's based on the Enterprise loosely. And it also looks a little bit dead. Also, a weird reoccurring dream I have is that I go to Universal Studios and some stuff I saw when I was a kid is still there. And that's a little harder to explain, but they had a Star Trek thing where you could be on the bridge of the Enterprise, they'd film you, and then they'd make a little movie, and they would edit it with footage from William Shatner as Captain Kirk and stuff. Well, some of those things from Universal Studios in particular are a little on the old side. Not only are they old, but they're in a state of repair. And I'm not making fun of Universal Studios here. It's just, if you go to Star Tours right now, you've got R2-D2 and C-3PO out in the bay there. That's a little more memorable than I think the Star Trek ride. Or it's not even a ride, it's more of an attraction. Well, hey, there goes the rain. I got to see Star Tours not long before they tore it down and brought in Star Tours 2. And even then, the ride was in a state of needing some updating. There were some things that had broken compared to when I saw it as a kid. And yes, I do remember it clearly enough to compare the two. Well, one weird dream I had a while ago was that there was a Star Trek ride that was more of a traditional kind of, think Pirates of the Caribbean or something, where you're on a vehicle, you're going from checkpoint to checkpoint, yada, yada, yada. And one of the areas you went to was you're in a shuttlecraft arriving at the Enterprise, and in my dream, the context of this ride was that you were in a large room, and they built a foreshortened miniature of the Enterprise. And to give you an idea, in my dream, the room was 4 stories tall. So the actual miniature of the Enterprise was still huge, and you were supposed to be in a shuttlecraft flying up to it. And that somehow this was the end of the ride, and it was glorious in the scale of it. Because there's no way a theme park would build that. It's just way too much space for one thing that's just one stop on the ride. But in my dream, oh, I was enjoying looking at this and the artistry of it. And if you're curious where that came from, I never got to see the Star Trek exhibit in Las Vegas. And one of the things they had hanging from the ceiling was models of the various starships at a very large scale. Still, air quotes, miniature, but we're talking, you know, I don't know, 10 to 20 feet long. And I would love to have seen that. In any event, the age of it is just kind of a weird thing for me, and I have a weird compulsion toward it. Like, oh, I wish I could see this. This is something that does not exist, and I wish it did. So getting back to Voltron, I sometimes, if I catch the right bit of scenery, I kind of just imagine being in a large spaceship, landing on a planet, and going camping. And that was something else I used to do when I was a kid. Well, I think that is where that all came from. I think it was Voltron. I finally am watching. I've been wanting to watch the Space Voltron in context for the longest time. As a kid, I just happened to catch it on TV once in a great while, and it wasn't the sort of thing where if I went to it the same time the next day or the next Saturday, I would see the next episode. It wasn't like that at all. There was some random element to it. And last night, I finally got to watch some of it in order, and now I'm seeing what I was attracted to. The art style of that show, it is sci-fi in a very distinct way, and subconsciously I've been trying to reconstruct it. Right down to them finding a planet that they want to live on, and they're starting a new colony, which is the gist of the story. Anyway, sorry, I'm babbling way too much about that, but it is really cool, and if you're at all interested at what I'm talking about, there is a video on YouTube where it shows the spacecraft that form Voltron. I'm not talking about the Lions here, I'm talking about the spacecraft one, leaving the ship, and you get a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about, because it's the style of sci-fi that you only saw in the late 70s, early 80s, and oh, I think it is cool. Okay, I gotta say goodnight now. So I'm going to say goodnight, and hopefully see you next week. And, well, I don't know. Will I continue down this archaeology theme? I don't know. I never thought I'd be looking for a fossilized man in Red Dead. So on that note, good night. See you next week, hopefully.